All good.
And we are live, guys. What's going on? This is Kevin the Tech Ninja, and I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Ryan O'Neill from beginnerstech.co.uk.
What's up, guys?
Hey, and this is Tech Talking BS, and we have a very special guest here that he's taking some time out of his Sunday to hang out with us and chill with us. This man needs no introduction, Mr. Armando Ferreira. I probably messed up your last name.
Just a little bit, but no, that's cool, man. Thanks. What's up, guys?
Hey, man, thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for inviting me to your show.
Yeah,
No problem.
I have something going on good. I like it.
I appreciate it, man. So Mr. Armando, we like to give people like a 30-second opportunity to explain their channel and what makes your channel special and why someone should subscribe to you. So go ahead and do your little spiel about your channel.
Oh, yeah, I'm not prepared for this, but 30 seconds, right? Okay. I mean, I just like to talk about technology in general. Sometimes I go off the map, as you guys have seen with some of the videos that I post that are not really tech-related. They're more of just randomness. But overall, I just like to show people the geekiness of not only Android, but other types of technology that is available out there, whether it be home automation, rooting your phone, not necessarily the process, but things that you can do with root. That's basically it. I mean, it's mainly more Android oriented, but I do, like I said earlier, I veer off into other stuff.
Nice one.
Was that 30 seconds?
Yeah, that's good enough. That's definitely good enough. So, today, we're a bit laggy. Sorry, everything lagged a little bit. Everything lagged a little bit there. So today we're going to obviously give everybody an opportunity to throw their questions to Armando like we do every show. So to do that, you use the hashtag TTBS on Twitter, or you can obviously ask questions from the Google Plus event page. So make sure to get them in, and as always, we'll try and get through as many as we can. So, what have you guys got going on at the minute? Anything cool?
Yeah, I mean, it's just working on videos. I'm trying to do a lot of videos right now. I don't know if you've seen influx of more videos compared to maybe 6 months ago. So I have a little bit more time now, and I'm able to dedicate more to the channel, which is something that I've been wanting to do for a long time now. So I'm kind of excited that I'm able to do that now and spend a little bit more time making videos, because I mean, I really enjoy making videos. So
yeah. And, the funny thing about seeing Armando and talking to him right now is that when I was with XDA developers, I was working on like a Tasker series of home automation, and every time I made a video, people were like, "Screw this guy! I'm watching Armando's video," and I was like, "Who the heck is this Armando guy?" And then I watched his videos with home automation. That thing was pretty nuts. So I guess that can sort of lead into one of our topics. We're going to talk about home automation, and I think you're one of the best guys to talk about with it. Like, do you feel that home automation is something like this is the new beginnings of home automation, or do you think that it's going to get to this point and sort of just dissipate eventually, or?
No, I really see it. Well, let's put it this way. Even a year ago from what it is today, a lot has changed with home automation. I mean, there's things now that are a lot easier to do, and it's geared more towards the average Joe. I mean, you see Apple's already has their little home kit available. You see Google, they have their home automation that's coming soon, probably by the end of the year. We should be seeing that. So I think that I would say in about probably a year, maybe most likely 2 years, you'll start seeing it at your friend's house. And that's when it's going to get weird, because normally, us as tech geeks, we're kind of like the guys that experiment with this stuff first, and then the average Joe, the people that really don't play with this kind of stuff, are the ones that will eventually adopt it. And I think that it should be interesting to see the average people just, you go to your grandparents' house or mother's house, and it's like, hey, check this out. And I mean, I don't think it's gonna get to that level where she's gonna pull out her smartwatch and say, turn on the popcorn machine back there or whatever. But I mean, I think that you'll eventually start seeing stuff like that. I mean, you see it now with those that Hue lights.
Yeah.
And I think that's geared more to the average consumer. So I think it'll take a while for it to really, make its way. But as soon as Apple will start, I'm sure when they pump out their commercials, when they see somebody an elderly person turning on the lights with their phone or something like that, it usually takes Apple to make ground for it. like Apple Pay. All of a sudden it's like a big deal.
So, what's your favorite piece of home automation that you have just now?
I think my favorite piece right now is, and you guys probably, if those of you that follow me, is Smart Things. I just picked that up not too long ago, and for me it was just, coming from Avera Lite to Smart Things, the user interface, everything in general was just really simple to use, and I like that. I like the simplicity. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind, venturing off into the coding and doing, the hardcore stuff, but it's always nice when you just basically plug and play and everything just works out of the box.
Yeah.
I like that type of experience too. And as I get older and I have 2 kids and it just, I don't have time to tinker with that, even though I enjoy it too, but I just like things that work out of the box. That personally something that I enjoy.
Yeah, Armando, it's funny because you're saying a lot of stuff that I say when it comes to home automation. Number one, technology is not consumer facing until Apple covers it, until Apple has commercials about it, then people actually understand it. And number two is that a lot of people don't have time for this coding and all that stuff to make stuff work. I mean, it's nice to have that skill in your back pocket, but if a company provides the same solution and does it just as good as you, and it takes less time, why not do it? So that's really cool that we sort of see it happening that way. And, I think home automation is going to become a big thing. Some people are skeptical about it, but I think once we get a company that has that power, like, Apple or whatever, provide a off-the-box solution where you can go to a store and say, I want home automation, help me out with it, I think then it'll really jump off. So.
Right, and I mean, Smart Things does a lot of that stuff. I mean, and a lot of things that I used to use Tasker for, I can just do it within the app, and that's really when that they have a good product. And I'm tempted to see what Apple's going to do, because remember, the simpler you make it, the better it is going to be for everybody, and the faster people will start, going out and buying these type of products.
Yeah.
It has to be simple.
Yeah, and obviously the price has to be right as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a huge thing. I mean, a lot of times people don't want to buy stuff like this because they realize by the time they piece everything together, it's going to cost them, let's say, $800 to $1,000. At that point, you know what? I'd rather manually switch on the light with myself. It's not. It has to get to the point where, you have to think. I remember even growing up. Maybe you guys do. I mean, I'm kind of. I don't know how old you guys are. I'm 34, but I remember being young or a small kid, and then mom pulling up and saying, "Open the garage," and I had to get out of the car, lift up the garage. These are things that I remember. I mean, now you can look at it as like, who does that nowadays? Everybody opens their garage with, well, at least for the most part, I would hope so, through a remote control. Cars nowadays, they have those built-in home links or whatever they call them, right? Where you just push a button within your car, because these things are normal. So I don't know how long it's going to take for everyone to get into home automation, but it'll be neat where you just, you could do it now. You walk in the door and everything just happens. Predictive is going to be what's going to probably going to take a long time. Where you think about it and then it happens. That's kind of weird, but
I love that.
Oh, I want to turn the television on. Hold on. Ding, it turns on, right? Without having to say anything too. So
I think that would probably be scary, man.
I think that would get a lot of little kids in trouble when their parents say, "Don't you ever watch TV until homework's done," and thinking about cartoons, and it pops on TV. I know. So I think home automation is going to get to the point where it's like you don't have a choice. It's going to be when you get your house built, that stuff's going to be built into the house. Kind of like you said with the garage door. I mean, I lost power recently, and I can't open my garage without pushing the button. And if I lost power, I'm pretty much screwed. So,
I think they have the little emergency switch, right? You just pull it down, and then you're able to manually do it. I mean, it's heavy. It doesn't have any springs to help you, but it's not.
Yeah, it's not ideal, So right. I don't know. I just think it may get to that point one day where it's like it's going to be built into your house, built into everything you have, so you might as well get adopted to it. I don't think it's going to be like an off-the-box solution type of thing anymore. And that's years down the line, though. So.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm just trying to check Twitter to see if we have any live questions, guys. So I just want to reiterate, #TTBS to get your questions in, and we will definitely get them answered as soon as we can. So let me see.
Yeah. So Armando, do you have any like? So what videos are you working on right now? Like anything that we could be looking forward to for like this week popping up or?
Funny you bring it. We're talking about home automation. I do have some more home automation videos. For example, let me see. Let me test this out, and I hope I don't fail here.
Oh, live demos in the works.
Live demo. Let's see. Hold on.
Exclusive.
Turn on popcorn machine.
You love that popcorn machine.
You know what? It is on, but hold on. It's just that the power's off manually. Yeah, see? So I'm going to turn it off right now. It's just that the actual power, I don't know if you guys can see the light.
Yeah.
Let me turn it off now. Turn off popcorn machine.
Oh.
The thing is, and here's the thing. If you notice, I didn't have to say OK Google. I don't know if you noticed that. All I'm doing is I'm flicking my wrist, and then I don't know if you guys can see that. The voice command pops up.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's an integration with Auto Voice and Auto Wear. So basically, I just flick instead of saying "OK Google," I can just flick. Oh, stupid thing! Starting. Yeah. It'll automatically listen to what I'm trying to. So that's kind of a video I'm working on. How you can do that with your home automation. I'm trying to. It seems like a lot of people like that kind of stuff. So you kind of got to give the audience what they like. And with that last video I posted, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, give us more in-hands on how you could do that kind of stuff." So
and I think people know you for this stuff too. So it's kind of like expected. It's like, what is Armando working on as far as home automation?
Right.
That's kind of, I mean, in my opinion, it's kind of like your calling card, automation. So.
And it's hard because, and that's, when you asked me earlier, give me 30 seconds about your channel, it's kind of hard to balance that because some people like the tasker stuff. Some people don't like the tasker stuff. Some people like, Armando, talk about Android versus iOS. Like, that's the reason why they're subscribed to me. And they'll probably never watch any other videos, but as soon as there's anything related with Android or iOS or, a battle between those two companies, they'll immediately watch it. So it's really hard. My channel is kind of like a mixture of a lot of different things, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, I'm very happy with the amount of subscribers that I have on my channel, and I like to keep the variety going rather than just kind of sticking with one thing. But I don't know. I mean, it seems to be working so far, so I guess I'll stick with that.
So how many not products, like how many items do you have actually hooked up to the watch commands at the minute?
How many what?
How many stuff like items in the house can you control with the watch at the minute?
You can control anything with the watch. I can control the front door locks, the rear door locks. I mean, anything that's connected to my home, I'm able to use my smartwatch, and of course it's integrated with Tasker. But we talk about that thing. When is a company going to make it where you don't have to integrate it with Tasker, and it's just a right out of the box solution where, and Apple could very well do that with Siri, even though Siri's not that great, but they can very well do that where you just connect everything and, okay, Siri, unlock my front door, and it'll just automatically do it with no programming needed. And I think that's where, Apple and Google really need to push these products out so that we don't need to implement and create these how-to videos because it'll just work out of the box.
Yeah, most definitely, man. This reminds me of like the Jetsons. I think we're almost getting to that point where we can like talk to our watch and then just stuff happens. I think it's pretty cool. Now, Armando, have you seen the movie WALL-E?
Right. What's that?
Have you seen the movie WALL-E? That
I have. Oh yeah, of course.
So do you think in our lifetime we're going to turn into that where we just have like a big iPad in front of our face and we're not doing anything at all and we just talk to computers and interact with us?
As scary as it sounds, I do see us heading towards that direction, and I'll give you an example. You have Tesla, you have Audi with these autonomous cars that are, pretty much now happening. Just imagine. I think it was Nissan, or I don't remember what company said that by 2022, I think it was 2022. I think it was Nissan actually. Don't hold me to this. They will have a 100% self-driving car that people can buy. I mean, you're talking in a couple of years. Can you imagine not having to I mean, not that you're exercising while you're driving, But the fact that you don't even have to worry, you could just sit there, eat your food, and get bigger, right?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, or just get consumed by the whole internet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the whole Wall-E thing. I mean, at least while you're driving, you're being focused. Your mind is thinking. I mean, your reaction, and there's a lot of stuff going on when you're driving. But now that you could just sit there and relax, basically, what can you do? I mean, you're like, for example, I live 3 hours away from Las Vegas, which is a trip that we usually take a lot. If I didn't have to drive to Las Vegas, what am I going to do? I could be online, I could be eating, I could be, just kicking back and relaxing and essentially getting bigger.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I found that extremely interesting. Like, that movie, what I like about Disney is, like, Pixar, they can make these movies that kids can enjoy, but they always have a deeper meaning behind it.
Right.
And I sort of see our society turning into this whole Wall-E thing. Not that extreme, but we are depending on computers and everything more to enhance our lives, but at the same time, we're not living anymore. It's kind of like the struggle I deal with as the family photographer. I'm never in pictures because I'm always taking pictures of everyone. And it's kind of that sucky thing that, there's pictures of everyone growing up, but yet there's no pictures of me growing up. So
it's funny you say that. I had a friend who posted on Facebook, hey, I forgot, he mentioned somebody. He said, I really appreciate you calling me rather than texting me. It's kind of nice to, pick up the phone and hear somebody's voice. And even in communication, I mean, it was funny. I was just tripping out yesterday. As a matter of fact, it was yesterday. My dad is sending me text messages, and my dad is old school, man. I mean, it took my dad years for him. He finally got a smartphone like literally a year and a half ago. After I told him, like, imagine this was his his regular dumb phone, and I told him, if you don't get a smartphone by tomorrow, I'm gonna break this. I really am. And he knows that I was being serious, and I'm like, you need to get it. So his actual funny thing is his first smartphone. For those of you that think that I hate Apple and stuff like that, I actually recommended that he get an iPhone first, and he did. That was his actual first. It was an iPhone 4S, I think it was. Yeah, 4S. That was his first smartphone. And after that, he actually is using a Note 4 now. So.
Oh wow, okay, that's one heck of a jump into the smartphone realm.
And it's funny because he actually enjoys Android more compared to iOS, which is interesting because no influence on my part. I just, believe me, here's the phone, Dad. This is how you use it. He had the phone for like over a year, and he barely found out how to use text messaging. I mean, that's how my dad is, and I'm not here to teach him how to use it. I'm just gonna let him, experiment himself.
Yeah. So we've got a question in since we're on home automation. It's from Orlando Ayla, doesn't really matter. Orlando anyway. Do you think Apple or Google will collaborate with one of the existing home automation companies, Crestron, Control4, RTI, to jumpstart the industry? Seems like it would be helpful to use existing HA players to refine the products and interfaces.
I think here's the thing. It'll be interesting to see what they do because, for example, Z-Wave, Zigbee, those are all open platforms. Do I believe that Apple products will be compatible with these open platforms? Probably not. It's going to be a closed system. And see, there goes the pros and cons. You create an all-in-one solution that's easy to use and works out of the box. However, there's nothing customizable that you can do with it. And you have to find that right balance. Personally, for me, I'd rather buy a system that works really well out of the box, but at the same time plays really well with open source platforms like Z-Wave, Zigbee. Now, do I believe Android or their platform will do it? What was the name of the Android? Kevin. Their home automation. What is it? What is it called?
Brillo.
There you go. Yeah. So do I believe that theirs will play nicely? Probably so, because Google's all about trying to work with other companies. Yeah. Now, to answer the question of should they buy, I don't see Apple doing that. I mean, maybe Google could acquire a company, but it seems that they already have their whole project going on, so unlikely. I believe that it will happen.
Basically, with Brillo, I think Google are just saying, look, we have Brillo, and they're going to allow everyone else to get on board with it.
Right.
I mean, there's not going to be any like we'll buy your company, etc., and use your stuff. Google's just going to put that out there and say, here's what it is. Everybody jump on board if you want, and hopefully everybody does, and we can all play under the one kind of umbrella, and it'll make it so much easier.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I think it's going to be interesting to see once they both go into production and to the marketplace.
Yeah.
How it'll affect the current companies today would be interesting to see. You know.
Yeah.
Most definitely, yeah. You know, and a lot of times it seems like Google or Apple, like mostly Google, they buy their competition and just say, hey, here's $1 billion, go away now, and then we'll control this space. So it is interesting. I don't think they'll work with the companies, but buy a company, you know, it can happen. I mean, they've done it before, and a lot of times they'll buy a company and then integrate that into what they're currently using. Like when they bought Waze, you're now seeing Waze information pull into Google Maps automatically now. So I think that's
that was a good purchase, by the way.
Excellent, dude. I love Waze, man. I love Waze, and hopefully I don't have to bounce between 2 different apps. Everything can just be in one app, and I can just turn on Waze features or whatever, or turn on live updates and say yes or no. You know, that's
it's funny because you see Google acquired Nest, which is, you know, in a way kind of related to home automation. I mean, it's mainly for a thermostat, but it's a key ingredient to a whole, you know, the whole home automation game. So with Nest, which it's funny because I see Nest as being an Apple product, just kind of the way it looks, and just I mean, it's a really good looking product, don't get me wrong, and the interface, I could see Apple being the ones that should have acquired it, but it's kind of nice that Google did it first. I mean, they took it and ran with it. So
yeah. And now it actually leads into a question that actually came through on Twitter. It's actually directed to you, Armando. It's what do you think about Google's update on Nest? Is the question.
I'm going to be honest. I don't know what those updates are, and I'll tell you why. Because first of all, for me as a geek, Nest is an overpriced thermostat.
Yeah.
I mean, I can buy a Z-Wave thermostat that'll do the same thing and possibly even more for under $100. You know. Now, does Nest look pretty? Absolutely. I mean, it looks great. Who wouldn't want to have a round thermostat? So when it comes to the whole Nest and Google, I really don't care about, because that's something that I would never buy. So it's whenever I see news or anything related to that, I just kind of skip it. So I'm sorry I'm not able to answer your question. I mean, I don't know what they're doing, just because I don't care about it. But
cool.
Sorry.
I mean, very fair answer.
I'm just being frank about it. You know, I don't know what they're doing, so I apologize. Even though, since I guess a lot of people, well, Armando, you're into tech, you should know a little bit about everything. I'm sorry, I don't know.
It's impossible to know everything.
Yeah, especially nowadays.
It's impossible to know everything. So.
Okay, so right, we probably better jump subjects now. Questions are thick and thin with the home automation at the minute. So, have you guys, obviously this is a good topic, the new Hound voice recognition app, because we've got a few questions about that. Have you guys tried it out yet?
I've heard about it and I've seen people talk about it, but yeah, I haven't played with it. Have you played with it?
Yeah. So being Scottish and using these voice assistants is just a no-go area. But if I put on my American accent, which I'm pretty good at, believe it or not, you can ask it loads of string questions and stuff, and it is pretty much accurate. So it's really good. You can ask it, like, for example, what is the capital of the UK, America, France, and what is the populations, stuff like that, and it'll give you all the answers from that one question and break them down into nice little points. So it's pretty good that way. So there's a few people asking that if they think that Google will actually buy Hound to replace Google Now.
Google Now is good. I mean, it's very good. I'm really impressed. I've always, you know, maybe I should make a video, like an updated, I mean, not that I've ever made one before, but I should make an updated video of what you can do with Google Now. And there's just so much stuff. I mean, it's a really powerful, and I'm not talking about just like the Google Now cards. I'm talking about just like the voice in general.
Yeah.
The communication that you have. I mean, you know, when you say like, okay, Google, what's the weather in San Diego, right? And then it says, oh, it's 72 degrees.
Yeah.
What time does the zoo close? It knows that you're talking about the San Diego Zoo and not the zoo in Los Angeles. You know what I mean? I mean, that's how smart it is. And it compared to like Siri or any other platforms out there, I mean, I think Google. First of all, it was Apple the one that came out with the whole like voice thing first. Then it was Google, but I mean, Apple's, to me personally, I think they're the ones that have really left Siri behind, and it just shows that they bought this company and then just kind of forgot about it and didn't really.
Yeah.
And maybe, and here's the thing, and maybe they know nothing about the whole, you know, voice, how to really maximize it compared to Google, because they're the ones that came up with it from the ground up, basically. So.
Yeah, you know, I think Hound's going to end up one of those companies that you can download the product. It's fun, it's cute to ask it questions, but as far as like productivity throughout your day, you're going to go to Google Now every single time. Because I think the way Google Now just ties in with your phone, there's no replacement for that. I mean, I'm a big fan of Google Now. I use it every single day before I go to work. It tells me my traffic and all that stuff, and gives me movie times on Fridays because I go to movies. I mean, it makes things simple, and I can't see another product. I can't see me opening an app to do voice searches if I have Google Now for that.
Yeah, and
Well, I've said this before, and it's something that, you know, it's very hard to compete with Google because all of their services are tied in together. So let me give you an example. And I mean, I know this has happened to you guys before. You go on Google, let's say, and this, you know, this happened to me like a couple weeks ago. I went onto Google and I was searching for something for Home Depot, right? Let's just say paint. So I went on to Google and I was looking at, you know, different pricing and stuff. So immediately when I hopped into my car, it told me, do I want to go to Home Depot? It gave me like the map direction. So that's how smart. I mean, Apple could never do that because first of all, they don't own a search engine, you know. So when I hopped into my car, it knew that maybe you do want to go to Home Depot, right? Or, you know, here's other places that I've searched that I can just immediately just hit start navigation and it'll automatically point me to that direction, right? Yeah. Also, I know this probably has happened to you guys too. Going back to that Home Depot story, I get to Home Depot and then immediately it'll tell me like what's on special or stuff like that. You know, things that are happening.
Yeah.
And even in certain stores, like what aisle and stuff that, you know, these products are in. So that to me is very powerful. Or as you're driving, hey, you know what? There's traffic. Should I reroute you this direction? You know, it's really amazing, and that's something that, you know, no other company could really do because they don't have these services as Google has. Gmail, search, you know, everything ties into their ecosystem, and they're able to provide these services. And I think that's the reason why I choose Android, and it's really difficult for me to pick and use a different platform because it's just not smart enough.
Yeah, and it's really more international friendly as well because I have no trouble using Google Now. I can speak the way I normally speak, and it will give me all the information that I need without any trouble at all. So for me, things like Hound and stuff, that is maybe just, I know obviously it's in beta at the minute, but if it can't understand a wide genre of people, then it's never going to be better. Obviously.
Well, yeah, and you know what? Even I'll tell you a story. Even for me, you know, I have this home automation set up, and one of my daughter's name is Carolina, which is in English you would say Carolina, but it's really Carolina. So a lot of times when I say, you know, turn on Carolina's lights, the actual text that it's displaying is Catalina, like Catalina Island, right? Yeah. So what I do is in Tasker, I use Catalina when I say Carolina so that it can recognize it, so that I can pronounce it the way I want it. Not, I don't want to say, okay, Google, turn on Catalina's light, because that's not my daughter's name. You know what I mean? So I still pronounce it the way I would do it. It's Carolina, and it would still show up. It'll actually say Catalina, but it'll still trigger the light or whatever it is in a room because that's the way I made it work. Which is, I mean, it's kind of a funky, let's just call it Band-Aid fix, but it works, you know. But what I guess my point is, even as somebody who speaks English, and maybe that word is not really, you know, Carolina, not pronounced English, but I still have problems with that, you know.
Yeah. So, may as well take another question. This one comes from Stuart Kirker. He's actually in the UK as well. He says, do you think that tech is getting cheaper and companies like OnePlus and handsets like the Sony M4 Aqua are really pushing flagship handsets to become cheaper in the future?
Well, I think that with any product, there's always that company that says, "Hey, look, we can do this cheaper, and if we whore out the market, people are going to buy this product." So I guess it's good for consumers because now you have flagship specs, flagship type of devices for under $300, right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
who wouldn't want a nice premium phone? But at the same time, there's always that perception: is this $300 phone really that good? You know, you start to think about that. But I mean, personally, I think that, and I've always said this, I think, when you look at, let's say, a 128 gigabyte iPhone, it's over $1,000. I can buy a MacBook Air that has a lot more material. Well, I mean, material in terms of metal and stuff like that. It has a bigger display. It has keys. I mean, it has a lot more components involved, right? I can still connect to the internet. I mean, the small things that it doesn't have, for example, it doesn't have, to be able to go online like a cellular network, but those are small things that cost pennies, you know what I mean? When you think about the price ratio compared to a phone, to even, a computer, phones are overpriced, man. I mean, they cost way too much money. I mean, it's ridiculous, and it shouldn't be that way. I mean, I think a phone should cost, like back in the day, $200, $300 at the most. I mean, it's ridiculous that we're paying so much money for a phone. But
in the UK, the tax is marked up so much, so we end up paying a lot more than what you guys pay. Obviously, we have better contract deals because I know that you guys, your contracts with all these different companies are crazy expensive at times, especially if you want a flagship handset. So most people here would probably opt for a cheap contract rather than buying a handset upfront, if you will. So, I mean, I've got the OnePlus One, use it as my daily driver. I say that all the time, just because the battery life is really good. But I don't know anybody else. Well, actually, I know one more person who has a OnePlus One. So, I mean, everybody is always going to go with the trend, regardless of the price. Just because people like to follow and people like to be in with the trend. So I really don't think that the prices will come down because people's going to pay it.
But the thing is, a OnePlus One is actually a really good device.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't really take it away. I mean, there's things that the OnePlus One is able to do that no other phone has. I mean, even Android phones like the Nexus devices, I mean, their battery life is tremendous on the OnePlus One. Well, not with the recent updates, but back with Lollipop and stuff, their battery life. I mean, I could literally get a day and a half if I wanted to of battery life, and that's something you don't really see even with, for example, right now. Currently, I'm actually using the Nexus, but I'm using the developer preview Nexus M, and they talk about features like Doze. I really don't see anything special. I mean, on my Nexus device, if you would have never told me about Doze, I would have thought it would be the same thing. I mean, there's nothing special about Doze. I mean, I haven't seen it unless it's hidden or it's not working properly, because I'll tell you what, I'm not getting any better standby time than I was with Lollipop. So
yeah, it's funny because people were talking to me about Doze and how it's gonna be great for battery life, and when they announced it, I was already like, that's not impressing me, because still, if you double the battery standby time on the Nexus 9, it's still way less than the iPad. I'm like, how are you going to come up with something new and you're still way behind your competitors? And a lot of people are saying the same thing that you're saying with their Nexus devices. They're, even with Doze installed, they're still getting the same amount of battery life, or marginally better. And I think that's no excuse. Battery life should be a whole lot better right now in 2015.
Absolutely, especially for standby, man, because I'm going to tell you right now, I've noticed this on certain phones. Let's say 5 hours of standby time, and my battery dropped 15%. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous, And a lot of times, like for example, yesterday I was out with the family, at the zoo. I wasn't using my phone. It could have been on standby for like 2-3 hours at a time, and my battery just keeps draining and draining. It shouldn't really drain. I mean, you said it best. I can leave an iPad running matter of fact, I've left an iPad running for like a whole week, okay, on standby. It was at 100%, and I left it there. And if I remember right, after a week, it still had 100% battery life, or 99%. You know, it's ridiculous that you cannot do that with an Android tablet or any phone. You know, it is. And when you, like you said, I think it's funny when you say, "Hey, check out something new." It's like somebody who's getting a letter D and says, "Look, I got a C on my report card." Like, yeah, congratulations, you got a C, but you're still at the very, you're in the middle. Yeah. You're not compared to B and A students. You're not that great, you know.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you, and I think this is a great segue to something I want to talk to you about. As far as the Nexus, not Nexus 6, sorry, the Galaxy S6. I know you ended up picking one up and you were using it for daily driver for a little bit, and you sort of ran into the same battery snafus that a lot of people had as well, but you were able to disable a lot of Samsung services to actually get better battery life. I'm not sure if you want to touch on that a little bit. Yeah, no, I agree, and it's proving that Samsung has a lot of junk on their phones that's not required to operate the phone that does affect the phone, which bothers me so much about Samsung.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, the whole battery thing, to me, it really bothers me, especially because, I mean, you know this. You probably like the Galaxy S6. I mean, not talking about the battery life. Yeah. To me, I think the Galaxy S6 from this year is probably, personally, my favorite smartphone, the Galaxy S6. It's my personal favorite of this whole entire year. Actually, I take that back. It would have been the HTC M9 if they would have had a better by the way,
the camera.
It's so funny because I would still be using my HTC One M8. I would still be using it if the camera was outstanding because believe it or not, I like the whole HTC M series, the M7, M8, M9. That's personally my favorite design style. I really like it, but their cameras just are not there. And I want to have I need to have a good camera because when I go out, I like to take a lot of pictures. Yeah. If I can't get a decent picture, that's a huge negative for me. On the flip side, battery life is also important. That's one of the reasons why I'm right now using the Nexus one is because I was out the whole entire day yesterday, and I know that I was going to be using my phone, taking pictures, and doing a lot of stuff with the family, so I needed something that was going to get me through the whole entire day and plus more, And that's why right now the SIM card is on the on the Nexus 6. But realistically, in reality, I wish I would have taken my Galaxy S6. Yeah. But that means I would have to have a battery pack. Even after doing all of those optimizations that I did, it still would, using the camera, using the 4K video recording, game over. You're done.
Yeah. Yeah.
As soon as the 4K recording comes into it, the battery just disappears instantly. Like I've got both of mine actually just sit in the drawer. I can't bear to try and use them for a whole day because I know that it's just going to be game over. And people will say, "But you have fast charge, but you have all of this." Yeah, that's all good, but if you're out and about, who's going to go into a coffee shop and plug it in for a charge? You shouldn't have to do it.
Right, and here's the thing, no matter how much optimizations you do with the phone, the one thing that will destroy it, and something that I was doing a lot yesterday, was taking pictures and taking video. And that's something it taxes the battery so bad, especially 4K video recording. I mean, you could record 5 minutes and 25% of your battery is gone right there.
Yeah, for sure.
It's no good, man. I think the last straw for me was on Friday. Me and my fiance were looking at wedding venues. Yay, so much fun! Woo! And then basically we were out from 8 a.m. to about 7.
Don't do it! Don't do
it! It's over. It's like
game over. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm a little sick. That's why. So.
Yeah. Okay. I got you. I think I'll be coming down with that in about a year as well. So.
Oh yeah. Remember this. We're gonna come back and play this, and I'm gonna remember this.
Exactly, man.
You were warned.
But we were going around looking at venues and stuff, and I had a quick charger with me. I had the brand new Anchor quick charger with me, and I had a quick charger car charger with me. And tell me why, at the end of the day, my battery was still at 10%. I was quick charging. I was hot swapping chargers. Like no matter what I did, the battery was still bad. And it was like a cat and mouse game. It was like, okay, I have time to plug it in. Let me get 20 more percent. I was like a crack fiend. Like, I need to plug it in. I need to fix. I need to fix. It was like, come on, man. I was like, I shouldn't have to do this. I should not have to babysit my battery and look at it constantly to ensure I can function throughout my day. Because, I mean, we rely on our smartphones for everything. And if my battery life is dead, it doesn't matter how pretty this phone is. If my battery is dead, it's not going to do anything for me. So I'm pretty much done with my Galaxy S6 unless something major happens. So,
well,
I don't know.
What do you think of the upcoming Note series? I mean, typically Galaxy Notes have really good battery. I mean, a lot of it has to do because, I mean, obviously they hold a lot more. But what do you think of like updated Galaxy Note 5? To me, the biggest drawback is I really like the form factor of the Galaxy S6, the way it feels in the hand. I mean, I'm kind of getting tired of these larger phones, and it's funny because I mean, I can use big phones, but it's just so much nicer to do the one-handed use as opposed to, I mean, I can't do, I mean, I can use the Nexus 6 with one hand, but there are certain things that I can't do with the Nexus 6 with one hand. Yeah. Where with the Galaxy S6, I can do everything with one hand. So.
You need to carry one of these bad boys about with the Galaxy S6, guys.
That's a solar power battery charger.
Yeah, you can. It's like 23,000 milliamps. So if you can buy a Galaxy S6, buy one of these. And obviously,
you're gonna look like the guys from Ghostbusters carrying a backpack with a battery connected to your phone, man.
Yeah. Dude, I think Ghostbusters was on to something. I think they were foreshadowing the Galaxy S6 for us because that thing is. I don't know, and you mentioned the Note series, and I think me using the Galaxy S6 got me excited about the Note because I'm like, the S6 is such a great phone, and the only thing I have an issue with is the battery life. So if I can get better battery life on my S6, call it the Note, make it a little bigger, whatever, sign me up. I'm happy for it. So I am looking forward to that phone. I will pick one up, of course. But I don't know, man. It feels like this is the year of compromises, you know? There hasn't been something that's like rock solid. It's kind of sad that I'm using a phone that's a year old right now, and the bulk of the phones that came out already.
So let me ask you something since you're saying that. So kind of food for thought. Yeah. So here's a question. You know, we're talking about this. Let's bring Apple to the table. How do you feel about their phones? Where they're pretty late to the game, but you could probably say, hey, their stuff works pretty good. I mean, they get pretty decent battery life, or in general, good battery life, right? Mm-hmm. So would you say Apple's doing a pretty good job by making sure that the quality and you know the way they release things is staged? What do you think about that? Let's talk about Apple a little bit here.
Yes. Well.
By the way, I'm not trying to take over your show.
No, dude. It's tech talking BS with Armando. You know, it's part of it, man. No, it's cool. So I've actually been using the iPhone 6 Plus for a little bit now. I've actually just starting to really get into it a little bit more, trying to get out of that Android box and understand what everyone else is doing. I think what Apple does as far as these stage releases, I think it's really good that you have a chance to get all these new features at one time, but if there's an issue or bug, they're so late to push it out and so late to fix it. Also, if it's a hardware issue, they don't have like a hardware revision coming out anytime soon. Like you're waiting a year for this, and I think it's kind of tough for a lot of consumers out there. But you gotta remember, most people that buy iPhones, like they see iPhone as the default. Like they go to the store and say, I want the iPhone. And if there's something wrong with it, they don't really think about it. They're not researching online, finding issues with it. They just sort of use the phone. They said something like 45% or 50% of users never install an application on their iPhone. They get it for how it is and never install an app. They don't go into the market. They just text and make calls and surf the internet. So I don't think they'll know if there's a battery issue. They'll just think about plugging it in every night, or they'll plug it in more. Like they don't think further than what's in their hand or what their friends are telling them. So I mean, I think it would be really cool if Apple did like release something, 2 things a year, 2 products a year, maybe iPhone this year and then the bigger iPhone, in the summer or whatever. I don't know, but I think what they're doing is fine. I know that they're late to adopt new technology, and they rebrand new technology as their own when it's actually considered old technology now. But they bring it to the masses, which I think is very good for technology as a whole, though. So
Yeah. You have to ask yourself though, like obviously with Android we have like 2K displays and stuff like that now. Apple obviously doesn't have that, but then again, all the 2K display phones have terrible battery life. So are all these like getting on the new tech bus straight away? Is it always a good idea?
Well, here's the thing. Then there's also the other question: is 2K display really necessary?
Yeah.
I'll be honest, man. I would be very happy with a 1080p display. It looks fine to me.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the iPhone 6 Plus, which has a 1080p display. Even the 6, which doesn't even come close. If you look at an iPhone 6, display looks fine, man. It looks perfectly fine. It doesn't look terrible. It's not something that it's not something that would bother me enough to say I don't want to use the iPhone because the display looks terrible, as opposed to I don't want to use my Galaxy S6 because the battery life is terrible. You see what I mean?
You're right. You made a good point right there.
That's the thing. I mean, I personally would rather have, like, instead of giving me that whole 2K display, give me a battery life that's going to last longer. I would have taken a Galaxy S6 with a 1080p display, but the battery life would last me 6 to 7 on-screen hour time. That would be whoa with that beautiful camera. You know, I would take that over the display any day. You know?
Yeah, me too. I would definitely. I mean, the S6 and obviously I'm not saying.
We're not talking about sex, right?
Not talking about sex. So, every week, man.
I'm sorry. I had to put a little jab at.
It's a tradition. It's a tradition. So, I mean, you look at the display, and there's no denying that it looks gorgeous. I mean,
oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but for it being necessary, I would say no. I mean, I would definitely happily live without it to have a good battery any day.
Ryan, you have an iPhone 6, right?
Yeah.
I mean, since you have one, does it bother you, the display? Does it look terrible? And by the way, keep in mind that display is not 1080p.
Yeah.
It's not even close to it.
No,
so
I know.
Imagine an iPhone 6 with a 1080p display. So that's essentially what you could have done with the Galaxy S6 is put in a 1080p display, and you would have been. You know.
I mean, it doesn't bother me at all. I can come home and I can foot about with like the S6. Then I'll pick up the iPhone. You're laughing at S6, man. And honestly, I don't really even notice the difference. I mean, it's not as if you're holding them and comparing them close to your face. Daily usage, no problem.
And that's the thing. I've always noticed this, that unless you're comparing a phone side by side, you guys know this because you guys are tech reviewers, have you ever compared a phone and you're like, oh my gosh, I used to think this display was so great, and then comparing it to another phone that has a better display, you're like, wow, the display on this phone that I used to think was great is actually pretty damn terrible, you know?
Yeah.
That happens to me all the time. You know, one of them was a Nexus 4. I used to think the Nexus 4 had a pretty decent display. I mean, it was pretty good. But then when I compared it to, like, let's say the HTC One M8, I remember looking at them side by side and thinking to myself, ouch, that Nexus 4 is terrible.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's terrible display. Never was good, you know? So.
Yeah, it's super relative. It's like it's what you expect versus what's actually happening always. So this kind of leads to, it reminds me of a conversation I had with my buddy Rohan Blake. He's kind of like a tech pundit. Like he always has some interesting opinions about tech. He said that Android companies feel like they need to prove themselves, so they put these high specs in their phones to make it like a spec war versus they don't, like, their name isn't big enough where people don't flock to their company without them doing something amazing. I think that is extremely accurate because Apple don't even talk about specs at all. Like, they don't mention these things, and they don't care. They said, hey, this is a great camera, this is a great phone, it's 33.5% faster, whatever that means, and you're going to enjoy your time with it. And period. That's all they need to say. People agree and people use it, and it works.
Yeah, I think Android users, and there's a load of us obviously members of forums and stuff like that, and when all the new handsets come out, everybody's comparing specs and everybody wants the most RAM, the best camera, the best screen. Nobody actually questions what would be better for daily usage as a whole, which is obviously when everybody goes and buys these expensive tech, that's when everybody discovers, oh man, I might have made the wrong decision here.
Well, like the G4 and the Galaxy S6 camera, it's like this one has f1.9. Oh, but this one has f1.8. You know, and it's like that little point is it. And personally, my opinion, I think the S6 shoots better pictures than the G4.
Yeah, from comparisons I've seen, I would agree.
It's to me, it's way more consistent, and I know you did a video on that, Kevin, with that, and it's true. It's way more consistent, in you know, despite. And here's the thing: laser autofocus and stuff like. You know what I mean? It's
buzzwords. Hey, let's power through some questions really quick. We have a few questions in here, and then we're gonna try to wrap up. So we're gonna fly through these really quick here. One question that came in is this is probably directed to you or whomever. This guy, JCVP11 said, "Hey people, I'm an up-and-comer tech YouTuber. I want to know what sort of advice do you have for people like myself? I love to be on the show one day. So Armando, do you have like some quick tips on how to become people like yourself on YouTube?"
Well, a couple of tips, just really quick. If you do decide to become a tech YouTuber, think of a really good name. That's one of the things that I never. Here's the thing. Like my actual screen name for YouTube is Wicked for You to See. Okay. So
I always laugh about that, by the way.
Okay, so you got to think about that. You're not gonna, like, for example, we have this live hangout. We're not gonna say like, "Hey, welcome, Wicked for You to See" to the hangout. Okay? So you have to really think of a good name. I mean, in most of this, you also have John from Techno Buffalo. His is John for Lakers. You know what I mean? So, and it's funny because he always talks about this, how he never thought that this would eventually become a business. So number one thing that think of a good name. That's number one. Think of something that you can market, because eventually you will become your brand, and that's something I think a lot of people don't think about. They'll just think, Dodger fan for for you to see or whatever, and then they'll just run with it. The next tip, just really quick to wrap it up with that question, is buy yourself a pretty decent camera. You don't have to buy the most expensive camera, but do your research. If it's $500 your budget, buy the best $500 camera that you can get. But most importantly, get yourself good audio. Yeah. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I've seen videos where the visuals are beautiful, but then the audio seems like it's coming from the camera, and it is so painful to watch that I almost can't even watch it.
Yeah, I've clicked on.
I would almost say it's the opposite. Sorry, I almost say it's the opposite. I can watch a video that has smooth voice and it's like butter, and you could just you get sucked into it, and the visuals are okay. I'd rather listen to somebody that has really good audio and their visuals are decent than somebody who has beautiful visuals but their audio sucks.
Yeah.
Those are my tips.
Nice tips then. So, this is another question probably related to what we were just talking about, and obviously this is a budget camera as well. Any tips for getting clean video with my T4i?
Lights.
What's that?
Oh no, the question was how to get clean video with my T4i.
Oh yeah, lights. Absolutely, I agree. Yep.
Yeah. The T4i, T3i, they suffer from grain. Anything above ISO 400 with those cameras, you're gonna get grain. So make sure you have a nice set of lights, or outside provides the best light in my opinion. Then you get into things like filters and all that stuff, but start outside, free light. 12 hours a day, free light. You go outside, it's beautiful. That's the problem with kids nowadays. They're always on their doggone PlayStation, never go outside for anything, right? So, Armando, it's funny because you said you'd rather have better audio than have good video. So here's a question to you. If Morgan Freeman made a review using the MacBook's front-facing camera, would you watch it?
Potato.
And had his awesome voice?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it would be interesting.
Everybody wants Morgan.
But here's the thing: if you combine both bad camera and bad audio,
yeah. Yes, it's terrible, man. But hey, man, we're actually coming up to the hour mark. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna do parting shots, all three of us. Once again, you have 30 seconds.
Wait.
Oh, go ahead.
We need to announce the winner.
Oh, sorry. Let me go.
Damn.
I almost forgot about the winner.
There'll be people sitting.
I know. Okay, hey guys, the winner of the Alcatel One Touch Idol 3 giveaway from Beginners Tech, myself, and Luis is Rohan M.
Boom!
Rohan M. I'm going to tweet you in just a little bit. Rohan M, you have won the Alcatel One Touch Idol 3. This one actually here. This one.
Congratulations, man.
Here, take it. It's coming to your house. Yeah, okay. So yeah, let's do parting shots. You have 30 seconds to talk about whatever is on your mind, whatever's on your heart, whatever you want to talk about. Always, we start with our guests. So Mr. Armando, lead us to the promised land.
Oh gosh, 30 seconds. What's on your mind?
Yeah.
Shoot.
Tick tock, tick tock.
Okay. I want to buy a new camera.
FS. Let me guess. The FS 700. Let me guess.
Yes, the FS7, not the 700.
700?
That's not. Hey, you said what's on my mind, right? That's on my mind right now. I want to buy the FS7. Sorry. You know what? I'm gonna blame Dom because he keeps sending me videos and stuff.
Low light. How do you like this low light shot?
Well, I'm already shooting Sony, so for me the low light thing is not a like wow thing because I'm already doing that. But I do like the versatility and the things that the FS7 does. So I'm thinking about getting one. That's my 30-second.
Oh my God.
Let me ask you a quick question about that. So
Yeah.
what was in terms of workload, owning an FS7 is it going to put increased pressure on the workload, or is it just like using a DSLR, as in from film to production?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand your question.
Right, sorry. Right, obviously the FS7 is a monster of a machine. Okay, it's really big. Is it going to make workload a lot harder, as in getting all the correct shots, your nice pans up, down, all these kind of things? Is it?
Well, I'm sure it'll
be
a
learning curve.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be more challenging because I mean, with anything, when you guys upgraded, I'm sure, well, you're new to the game, Ryan, but I'm sure you, Kevin, you upgraded camera. You're GH4 now, right?
Yeah, it's actually a smaller camera, though, so it actually made things easier.
Oh, there you go. Well, I mean, but it was still a slight learning curve with, with the menus and stuff like that, and even, I'm sure your workflow probably got easier for you, but, well, maybe because you shoot 4K, but then you down-res it to 1080p, right? Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, there's going to be challenges and stuff, but I mean, I'm excited to. I mean, I'm not buying the camera yet. I'm looking into it, but I just want to know if it's really going to be worth it from what I have compared to that. Like, if I'm really going to, I'm sure I'll see a difference, but is it worth the $7,000 difference?
Oh my God!
I don't know.
My honest opinion on the matter. Okay, like everybody knows, like John's videos and stuff like that. They all look very nice. They're nice and crisp. But if I'm watching, like, obviously Kevin's videos or your videos, I'm watching them on a mobile device. Very, very, very few times I'm watching them on the laptop. I mean, I really don't.
It's a personal satisfaction. I'm watching it in 4K.
It is. Yeah. It's it's like you don't have to do it, and the 90% of people that are watching our videos can't tell the difference between a T3i or an Epic Red because they're not watching it for that. But it's just we're into this. This is our hobby. This is stuff we love to do. We want to make the best footage we can for ourselves.
Yeah,
right.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. So like
that was a good example. That was a good example, Kevin. You said a lot of people can't tell the difference. Like, for example, you look at John from TLD and you look at Marquez from MKBHD. I mean, MKBHD, he has that, the Red Dragon, which is essentially with all the gear and stuff, close to almost $100,000, The body alone, 50 grand. But here's the thing: if you look at both of their footage, the John from TLD and MKBHD, is it really worth the extra $80,000? You know what I mean? Are you? It's to that point where you're like, wow, but it's a personal satisfaction that he has it. He knows that he's gonna shoot at 6K, well, soon to be 8K, and has so much Can you imagine how much wiggle room you have with 8K? I mean, you can
It's-
reframe your shot any way you want. I mean, but
It sounds dirty. It sounds dirty to let me downscale to 6K from 8K. Like,
Yeah, guys, I'm probably just going to stop shooting now.
you know what MKBHD should do is just start his own like video network, and 8K would be the supported resolution. Can you imagine?
Oh
man, dude.
That should be the new hashtag, Beyond Crispy.
Dude, it's burnt. It's burnt, man. It's not crispy anymore. It's burnt, dude.
It's right, I know, right?
Hashtag burnt.
Hashtag burnt, yeah.
Yeah, I'm dying to get on the GH4 train. Then everybody on Twitter the past week's like, yeah, I'm going to get an FS7. I'm like,
I can't do it. Yeah.
Ryan, there's so many good deals right now. You should just jump on one, dude.
Yeah, I know, man. Everybody's selling up, man.
Everybody's selling their GH4, man. So.
Don't worry, I'm keeping mine for the long haul. I'm keeping mine for at least another 10 days. So. All right, Ryan, parting shot. Why are you always purple? You're always magenta. Are you sponsored by T-Mobile?
Yeah, man. T-Mobile's giving me the dollar. So if you're wanting a contract, definitely check out T-Mobile, guys. They'll definitely hook you up. Use the coupon Beginners Tech, really helps me out, and I'll be able to buy a GH4 pretty soon if you guys help me out with that.
That'd be funny.
So no, it's actually my my mid-lighting. I like purple. I don't know.
Purple.
Purple.
Oh, purple.
Purple.
Oh, purple. We didn't know what you said. Parting shot. What you got?
Thanks for tuning in again, guys. This show has been awesome. We have loads of awesome guests coming up. I just want to say thanks to Armando for coming on and sharing his wisdom and humour. I really hope all you guys enjoyed it, and I hope anybody that wanted to get a question in got one in. So thanks, and we'll see you next week again. Over to you, Kevin.
Okay, I was going to say, I need my parting shot.
Yeah! What's it about, like?
Here's my parting shot. How vain have we become? How vain have we become? Do we need to have these stabilization profiles?
Okay. I have to ask. What brand is that?
Kumba Cam.
Nice.
Kumba, yeah. I mean, okay, this thing is amazing. Don't get me wrong, right? I mean, seriously, I can say.
Did you just turn it off?
Yeah, I turned it off.
Okay, I thought it went limp.
No. When my woman comes in the room, it's like, what's up? But this it's a review I'm working on. You can find it on my channel really soon. It's like, this is sweet, this is cool, but it's like, do we need to have like super stabilized selfies now?
Tell them how much it costs, man.
$350.
Ouch.
That's pretty pricey.
But for what it is, like understanding the price that it will cost for DSLR, it seems to be in line for what the market is for these things. But I'm not sure if someone wants it for their phone or not.
But I guess we'll know when you publish your review.
Yeah, but so far, I mean, TLDR, this thing is amazing. Like, I mean, seriously, like you can see it right now. It's 100% balanced. It's not swaying. It's not rocking at all. I mean, look at this.
All right, I know you probably want to save it for the review, but I need to know, how's the battery life?
Actually, you get about 5.5 hours.
That's not too bad.
Is it you have to charge the actual device, or does it have batteries that you?
It has batteries, but they're not like AA. They're actually like lithium ions that are made specifically for this. So.
So you have to buy it through them. That you can't buy it. Let me see.
Yeah, they're like kind of these little stubby batteries, which so lithium batteries film. But I mean, don't get me wrong. This thing is amazing. I just don't know what the market is for it though.
It looks like you can mount. It looks like you can mount a GoPro to it also.
They make one specifically for GoPros. They do have this little quarter screw here at the bottom, so you could put something on here. You know, this is just the normal screw size. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure you can hack and modify and do a lot of crazy stuff with it. Also, you can update the software via USB as well. So
nice.
Stuff. And I mean, it's solid, and there's different modes. So if I tap this button twice, like the mode change. Hang on, I'm still new to it. I gotta figure it out. Hold on. Okay, wrong button. Hang on. Okay, I'll get it right before the review starts. How about that? Okay. Well, there's a mode where it actually turns this whole thing around, and then it changes your perspective, so you can then put it on like you can just switch the perspective, so up is down and down is up if you're holding it in a different way. Stuff like that. So it's just a lot of different. Yeah, it's a lot of different cool things you have on this thing built into it. So it's amazing.
That's really cool, man.
Yeah. So if you're starting a YouTube channel, you could always just buy one of those and shoot with a nice 4K G4 or S6.
Yeah.
You could get some. I seen an awesome review shot with a G4 the other day on a boy's channel, Tech Wally. He shot his S6 review with the G4, and the visuals were. It looked really awesome. I'm not going to lie. I mean, you could tell it was a smartphone, obviously, but I mean, it looked crispy.
Yeah, these things are good looking. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining in. Armando, once again, man, really appreciate you joining our show, man.
Thank you. Thank you guys for inviting me. I really appreciate it, and
cool.
Hopefully I get invited again in the future.
Cool, man. All right, we'll hold you to it, man. All right, guys. Well, hey, fans, people watching, thanks for watching. Same time, same place, 2 p.m. Eastern time on Sundays. Also, we're going to start recording these things, get it out to you via podcast. You guys have been asking, and we will give it to you. All right, guys. From Kevin, for Ryan, for Armando, we will see you guys later. Peace.